We'll be talking about the sixth unit in the Living by Chemistry curriculum, and this unit is entitled Showtime. In this screencast, I'll be giving an overview of the Showtime unit and talking about some difficult lessons and providing you with some resources. So, first of all, just to show you the chapters in the textbook, okay? There are two sections in the Showtime unit, and there are only a total of 8 lessons, and that includes a review lesson in the entire unit. So lesson 1, how awesome, there are some chemical demonstrations. Lesson 2 introduces the idea of reversible reactions. Dynamic equilibrium is further studied in lesson 3. Students learn about the equilibrium constant in lesson 4, and learn how to carry out basic equilibrium calculations in lesson 5. When students then proceed to the second section of the Showtime unit, they learn about Le Chatelier's principle and apply Le Chatelier's principle to some colorful lessons. And then there's a review lesson, which we could consider to be lesson 8, as it does in the pacing guide. And that's it. So it's a very short unit. And one of the most difficult things about the unit, I would say, is the difference in pedagogy in lesson 1. So I want to talk a little bit about lesson 1. In this lesson, students will engage in carrying out one equilibrium demonstration, and there are 8 of them. So let's say a class of 24 could be split into groups of 3, or if it was a little bigger, it could be groups of 3 and 4. And that group will carry out an equilibrium demonstration and think about how they could angle that demonstration in order to creatively and interestingly make others sort of like learn about the chemistry of this demonstration. And so, as I've mentioned, there are 8 of these demonstrations, and so that means that the instructor needs to be familiar with the chemistry of all 8 of these demonstrations and be prepared to supervise all students engaging in these 8 things going on at once. So this is a lesson which warrants a great deal of preparation on the part of the teacher. So just to show you a little bit about the teacher's guide here, we see that lesson 1 demonstration involves dish soap and baking soda and vinegar. Nothing too different there. One demo uses antacid tablets and universal indicators. So these are conceivably things that could be in the supply room. Perhaps antacid tablets would need to be purchased from a drugstore. Demo 3 uses phenol red. This is the first time that this indicator has been used in the curriculum, so it may need to be purchased exclusively for this lesson. Demo 4 uses indophenol sodium salt, as well as rosazurin indicator, which hasn't been used anywhere else in the curriculum. Glucose has not explicitly been used in the curriculum, however, could likely be borrowed from a biology teacher in a pinch. Demonstration 5 uses sodium polyacrylate. All right, this hasn't been used anywhere else. Demonstration 6 uses materials that should be available. Demonstration 7 uses vitamin C tablet and tincture of iodine, 2 materials not used anywhere else in the curriculum. And demonstration 8 uses materials, however, the teacher would probably need to purchase cranberry juice. So my advice for this difficult lesson is do all the demonstrations yourself. Understand how they work inside and out so that when students are perhaps having trouble engaging in this task, which is critical to the entire unit, that you can help them. Difficult lesson 2 is the second lesson, which involves looking at the equilibrium between the cobalt ion and the hexaaquo cobalt ion in solution, which is a different color for those 2 ions respectively. Now, conceptually, this is difficult because this is the first time that students are exposed to a complex ion, so you may want to be prepared to discuss the nuances of the chemistry of complex ions with them. But additionally, cobalt chloride is a toxic substance, so it is absolutely essential that you be prepared to dispose of it properly. It should not be flushed down the drain. All students who are engaging in this lesson should be wearing goggles. They should be wearing aprons and gloves. it's essential to take proper protocols to prevent any sort of exposure to cobalt chloride. And it's essential that your students be aware that they need to be extra careful when engaging in lesson 2. If you're not confident with their ability to do that, and this would be right towards the end of the year, so you should know your students by this point, my recommendation would be to do it as a demonstration instead. Now, in terms of some resources, as in all of the other screencasts related to Living by Chemistry, the pacing guide, student learning objectives, and yearly planning calendar are especially helpful to refer to. I found a good video on YouTube of the iodine clock reaction being carried out as detailed, although the student who I'm guessing they're a student, they seem very young, in the video says how their eyeglasses are proper eye protection, and that's not true. But they carry out the reaction correctly. And the cobalt chloride equilibrium in this video, you can actually see a little bit more content than is actually being taught in lesson 2, but the teacher does an excellent job of talking about the equilibrium between those ions in solution and the different colors that you can get. I think that the teacher also should have been wearing gloves in addition to the goggles that she was wearing, but she did an excellent job with the content, and I find that useful when studying this particular equilibrium. If you have any questions and need to email either Pam Pelletier, Holly Rosa, or myself, you are welcome to, and here are our BPS email addresses. As you go on and teach your students about the exciting science of chemical equilibrium with the Showtime unit in Living by Chemistry.